can hear from the noise. The two teams are now making their way out here at Cheshunt Park. I'll take you through this afternoon's lineups, starting with Bath City. One change from the starting lineup last Saturday, as Q mentioned. Jordan Dyer misses out with injury. Jack Batten slots in the back four, so it's Joe Wright in goal. A back four of Joe Rains, Jack Batten, Kieran Parcell and Jacob Jones. A midfield three of Dan Hayfield, Chris Lines and Luke Spokes, and a front three of Alex Fletcher, Cody Cook and Scott Wilson. On the bench for Bath City, Tom Smith, Elliot Freer, Ryan Clark, Rex Mannings and James Morton. For Cheshunt, two new signings, so two debuts in their side, takes them to 36 players used already this season. I think they're going to be lining up 4-2-3-1. It's Joseph Rose in goal, a back four of Fraser Alexander, Taylor McKenzie, Lewis Hobbs and Luke Warner-Ely. Midfield two of Mohamed Kamara and Giuseppe Ray, and then a three of Reece Beckles-Richards, Ken Charles and Zach Newton playing behind Chris Harris. On the bench for Cheshunt, Raul de Silva, Brandon Adams, DeJong Golding, Enoch Ekongo and Emmanuel Martins. And as we touched on there now, two new signings. Fraser Alexander's coming on loan from Ipswich. Ken Charles last on the books of Kings Lynn, but 36 players being used by this stage of the season is an awful lot, isn't it?
That's an awful lot, quite incredible, really. You know, when I think back when Alan Piddon was manager, roughly 20 years ago, in his first season, we used, I think it was 45 or 46. But, you know, you can sign players up until the end of, essentially the end of March. So, you know, to do it at this stage just shows how much disruption they've had in trying to find the right formula. But maybe they found it, you know, last week's win. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, the first thing that's happening this afternoon is the two sides are swapping ends. So Bath City will be kicking up the slope towards the Bristol end in the first half. Cheshunt down the slope towards the Bath end. I think it was forecast to be a bit of a downpour around kick-off. That's not come so far. Still a pleasant afternoon here at Cheshunt Park. And it is Newton who gets us underway in this National League South clash this afternoon. Long ball out to the left. Drifts out of play for a Bath City throw. Picked up by Charles. He looks to exchange passes, but it's gifted back to Bath City and Lines into Cook on the edge of the area. Goes for a shot first time, but comfortable for Rose to gather down to his right-hand side. Up the line, looking for Harris. Flicked inside. Now comes through to Newton. Crosses in towards the far side. Arriving is Alexander, whose shot is blocked. Few appeals for handball. Referee doesn't think so. And Hayfield, James can clear up out of play. Beckles-Richards does well to get their head of Jones on the right. Crosses in low. Rains can clear from the 6-yard box. They'll play through Cheshunt throw, but after that opening sort of 90 seconds of Bath City are on top, visitors have looked good going forward. As Newton does go for the long throw. It's headed clear by Parcell. Turned back on the volley by Ray, but behind for a Bath City goal kick. As Parcell goes for a long diagonal. Fletcher slightly miscues his header, but drops back to Lines now onto Cook, 25 yards out. Plays it to Fletcher in space on the right side of the area. Crosses in, and it's just a couple of yards ahead of Wilson, who couldn't quite get on the end of it. Hayfield trying to keep it on the far side, can't. Goes behind for a throw-in. Have now been a couple of goals in National League South. We'll come back to those in a second, because Rains has taken the throw-in quickly to Spokes. 20 yards out, drives in across. It's a wonderful one to the far post, and Fletcher slides in, couldn't quite get on the end of it. Cook and Fletcher stationed out on the left for Bath City. They are the target.
Swapped Wilson and Cook over, isn't he? Wilson and Fletcher over at the moment.
As Cook brings it down about 20 yards out, shifts away from a couple of players into the area. Cook, shot is blocked. Loose ball's going to drop to Spokes. Still Spokes, and he drags his shot wide a couple of yards wide of the post. That was a decent opening for the Bath City man.
Yeah, it was. He was closed down quickly, but still a good shooting opportunity, and he'll be disappointed that he hasn't opened his league account for City there. But he certainly put City on the front foot, looking for a second equaliser. Had a big influence on that, on those proceedings, and earned his spot.
Lines with a long ball forward. Cook brings it down in the area, puts past the keeper and puts it wide of the post. A big chance for Cody Cook. The Cheshunt defenders look across at the linesman. The flag didn't go up, and the form he's in, the Bath City number 9, you expected the net to bulge. Parcell gets on with it quickly to Spokes. He then looks to shift it out to the right. Fletcher brings it down. then plays it to Rains, about 20 yards out. Chance to maybe take on 𝗛𝗚𝗚𝗛𝗚𝗛𝗚. Still with Rains. Plays it across to Hayfield on the edge of the box. Dinks it over the top. Cook is in behind. Cook in on goal. Superb save by Rose. Strong hand to his left to deny the Bath City number 9. And for the second time this afternoon, Cody Cook in on goal. Couldn't take the chance. Hobbs's clearances slightly misjudged. Now breaks to Spoke, so at 25 yards out. Going to go for a strike, but that one's cleared the terrace behind the Bristol end goal. And Joseph Rose not needing to be called into action on that occasion. Going to come through to Mackenzie. Slightly misjudges his ball, but it breaks to Harris. He lays it off to Newton in the centre circle. Lays it out to Beckles-Richards on the right, in space. Chance to take on Jones. Drives in across, first time low, and that's superb defending by Parcell to turn it behind for a corner kick because Zach Newton thought he was about to have a tap-in. Driven in by 𝗛𝗚𝗚𝗛𝗚𝗛𝗚, and it's met in there by Camera, but he can't direct his header on target. Throughout the lines flicked on by Harris. Lines nods it forward. Mackenzie then clears it away. Lines once again over the top. Once again, Mackenzie wins the header. Loose ball drops to Hayfield, 25 yards out. To Fletcher on the left. Drives it in, and Rose does well just to claim it at his near post.
Yeah, shot on target, but and a little surprise element by Fletcher going for goal from there, but he didn't really have anyone in the middle at the time.
As Lines slightly misjudges his pass. Jones gets a head on it. Wilson then gets to the loose ball first on halfway. Plays it square to Rains, forward to Hayfield, and a bit of space. Driving up towards the edge of the area. Hayfield looks to cut inside, he's held up. Ball breaks to Lines, chips it to the far side. Fletcher wins the header, but it will drift behind for a goal kick. Pass in field does find Wilson. Still Wilson to the edge of the area. Cross is blocked by Camera, breaks back to the Bath City man. Another cross in, but that one's easily chested down by Ray, who will launch it upfield, and with that the referee blows the half-time whistle. So here at the interval it's Bath City 0, Cheshunt 0. Referee just checking both keepers are happy, and it is Spokes who gets us, well, I say gets us back underway. About 4 players, 2 of each side, have run into the wrong half. He does now get us underway in this second 45. Line to the long diagonal, helped on by Cook. Fletcher brings it down, turns inside, and lays it back out to Cook on the right. Drives in across first time, headed clear by Mackenzie, out for a Bath City throw. That's with Rains in the right back spot. He's long upfield looking for Fletcher. Ball breaks to him off 𝗛𝗚𝗚𝗛𝗚𝗛𝗚, then looks to slide it in behind for Cook. In the area with Cook, and he's dragged his shot wide of the post.
Angle was very tight. Fletcher did well, Rains did well, but the angle was getting ever tighter for Cook.
Gets it back from Fletcher. Still with Rains, but 25 yards out. Closed down by 2 blue shirts. Gets it back to Fletcher. It's to the byline. Stands up across. It's headed behind by Mackenzie. 5 black and white shirts in the area. Spoke's position just outside as Lines drives it in. Cleared as far as Fletcher on the turn. Shot is blocked. Appeals for handball. I think 𝗛𝗚𝗚𝗛𝗚𝗛's hands were down by his side. He can clear up towards Charles, who manages to get a throw in as Rains has to head out on halfway.
Yeah, that's very hopeful appeals for handball.
As he pick it back up now with Hayfield, who is okay. Driving forward, lays it down the right for Fletcher. Hobbs out there with him. Cuts back onto his left foot, lays it to Rains on the overlap. Crosses in towards the far post. Arriving is Lines, who blazes it miles over. It was a good chance for the Bath City number 14, unmarked at the far post, and he couldn't keep his volley down.
Lovely move down that right-hand side once again with Fletcher. Little back heel for Rains, a good cross by Rains.
He's overrun it though. Rains can dispossess him. Hayfield driving forwards. To foot in, but he's still going. Loose ball breaks to Cook, into Wilson in the area. Shot is blocked by Alexander, and that makes it comfortable for Rose to gather. Elliot Freer will make his introduction. Scott Wilson is the man who's going to make way. As Newton lines up for a long throw here, about 15 yards out on the Cheshunt right. And he's...
It's a foul throw, so interesting one, okay.
Back now to Spokes. Bath City have scored in every league game this season since the opening day. They're drawing a blank thus far. Here's Lines though. twisting and turning, playing it in behind, and there's just a little bit too much on it for the run of Hayfield, and Rose can come out to gather. Jones will take the throw at 20 yards out on the left. Gets it back from Hayfield. Closed down, infield, Hayfield in space on the edge of the area. Looks to bend it, but bended a couple of yards over Rose's upright. Rose goes long and flat with the goal kick, batten underneath it. 𝗛𝗚𝗚𝗛𝗚𝗛 backtracking. Gets there under pressure from Fletcher, who's done well, got the better of him, driving into the area. Fletcher, shot is blocked, comes back to him on the edge of the box. Plays it infield, Cook, and Freer with a shot, and he's dragged it a yard or so wide the post.
Well, it's a good advantage played by the referee there as Fletcher was pulled back after that mistake in the Cheshunt defence. And after the first shot was blocked, lovely little flick by Cook up to Freer, and
18 minutes plus stoppage time remaining at Twerton Park. Deadlock still to be broken. Fletcher driving forwards. Square to Hayfield in space. Out to Freer on the edge of the box. To take on his man to the byline. Pulls back across. It's well defended. Fletcher then goes down. And it's going to be a penalty kick. It was Mackenzie with it. He did well originally and then did not realise that Fletcher was coming in on the blind side. And it's going to be another penalty kick to Bath City. There's been so many in their games this season. And a big chance to break the deadlock.
It's like there's inquiries from the Cheshunt players, but not major protests.
It's the 11th penalty already this season in Bath City games. The 7th they've been awarded. And Cody Cook, who scored from the spot last Saturday, looking to do so again. Steps up. Into the bottom corner. Rose went the right way, couldn't keep it out. A superb penalty from Bath City's leading marksman. It's his 12th of the season, and the Romans lead by 1-0 after 75 minutes.
Well, it was absolutely precise, despite Rose's best efforts. And City, I say on the balance of play, you say they deserve to be ahead, but Cheshunt will be fuming with themselves for conceding.
Such a soft penalty to give away, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It was a foul, and I'm no doubt about that.
𝗛𝗚𝗚𝗛𝗚𝗛 drives it in, headed away by Cook. And as far as Ray, who goes for a long-range strike. Rains is there with a block. Breaks back to Alexander on halfway. Plays it out towards the right. Camera making the run. Fletcher going back with him. 𝗛𝗚𝗚𝗛𝗚𝗛 will be able to clear upfield. Into Adams on halfway, looks to skip away from Batten. Bath City want a free kick, they're not going to get it. It's a run forward here, Parcell with a really important foot in. It was a heavy touch by Newton that allowed him to do so. And then Rains is fouled by the Cheshunt man. It'll be a free kick. Joe Rains has been awarded the sponsors man of the match. This ball comes to Fletcher, who dinks it over the keeper and onto the roof of the net. So close to doubling Bath City's lead. It was a long ball forward from the free kick from right, flicked on, and Fletcher was inches away from putting this game potentially beyond doubt. 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining at Twerton Park. 𝗛𝗚𝗚𝗛𝗚𝗛 with the delivery, clips it in. It's kept in at the far side by camera, but his pull back will only find the side netting. Barges into his left back as he does so, but it's with Fletcher. Infield to Cook, who drives away from a couple of challenges up towards the edge of the area. Long-range shot is blocked. Back to Hayfield, who strikes it, but that was a couple of yards wide of Rose's upright.
Yeah, again, a presentable shooting opportunity from Hayfield from 22 yards out. Still thinking Cheshunt have got to carve out one opportunity in this second half. As I say, did not really look like it.
Spokes does well, wins it back. Here's to Fletcher on the edge of the area, and his shot is high, wide, and miles off target, quite frankly.
I know he's won this penalty, but that shot does rather sum up his afternoon, doesn't it?
Cook with it on the edge of the area. Looking to drive away from 𝗛𝗚𝗚𝗛𝗚𝗛, stands up across. Alexander heads it half clear. Cameroni as far as Hayfield. Heads it to Freer on the edge of the area. Back to Hayfield, 20 yards out. Wide to Freer once again. And with that, the referee blows the full-time whistle. Finishes here at Twerton Park. Bath City 1, Cheshunt 0, Cody Cook penalty. 15 minutes from time separating the two sides, but you have to say, particularly on that second half display, it was a 3 points that Bath City deserved. Definitely,
yeah. While City haven't really worked Rose in the Cheshunt goal, they've been much the better side for much of the 90 minutes and deserved the 3 points. They kept probing, they kept believing, and you know, there's including added time, there's nearly 20 minutes left after City took the lead, and Cheshunt haven't had a single effort on goal. You know, Joe Wright more or less was a spectator, so you know, that's shown, yeah, difficult to break down, and that was partly owing to City not being clinical enough either with the final pass or in their actual finishing, when they have had you know, 3 good chances earlier in the game, but they find a way to win. They'll keep them where they are in the league, and you know, bodes well. And importantly, after the defensive problems we've had, a 2nd consecutive clean sheet.
Yeah, and on that we will end it this afternoon. So thank you very much for joining us here on Bath City Radio. We will be back on it on Wednesday for that trip to Havant Waterlooville. Mark Stillman and Bob Chester will be behind the mic for that one. But so if you can't make the trip down to Hampshire, please do join us. We'll be on here from 7:30. But until then, hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, which has started here with Bath City beating Cheshunt on Student Day by 1-0. Cody Cook's 12th goal of the season coming from 12 yards, giving the Romans all 3 points. We hope you do join us again soon.